Hi children, welcome back to our social class. So in the previous class we were looking into the making of national movement. Okay, so now we shall continue the chapter. So the need for All India Organization of Educated Indians had been felt since 1880. Okay, so but there was a controversy in the Ilbert Bill. So the Indian National Congress, okay, it was established with 72 delegates. Okay, how many members? 72 delegates over the country. Okay, and they met at Bombay in December 1885. This is how your Indian National Congress was formed. So Indian National Congress was formed in the year 1885 December at Bombay with 72 delegates, that is 72 members. Okay, so many leaders joined it. Okay, who were they? Dada Bhai Nauroji, Firoz Shah Mehta, Badruddin Tyabji, W.C. Banerjee, Surendranath Banerjee, Rumesh Chandra Dutt, S. Subramania Iyer, and among others, was largely from Bombay and Calcutta. Okay, so these were the famous leaders. Now, Nauroji was a businessman and publicist. He was settled in London and for a time member of the British Parliament. He guided the younger nationalist. Okay, who guided? Nauroji. A retired British official, A.O. Hume also played a part in bringing Indians from various regions together. So A.O. Hume also gave ideas to the people. Okay, he was a British official. Did you understand? Now, a nation in the making. Okay, so it has been often said that the Congress in the first 20 years was moderate in its objective and method. Okay, so in the beginning, for the 20 years, it was moderate. That is, they followed non-violence. Okay, they were calm. They just told their problems to the British people. Okay, so during this period, it demanded a greater voice for Indians in the government and in administration. Okay, it wanted the legislative councils to be made more representative, given more power. Okay, they wanted the legislative councils to be given more power and introduced in provinces where none existed. So in the provinces there were no legislative council. Okay, and it demanded that Indians to be placed in high position in the government. For this, it called for civil service examination to be held in India because it was previously held in London. Okay, so these were all the demands of the moderate people who belong to the Congress. Is it clear? Now, the demand for Indianization of administration was part of a movement against racism, since most important jobs at the time were monopolized by the white officials, and the British generally assumed that Indians could not be given positions of responsibility. Okay, so they were not ready to give responsibility to Indians. They thought that Indians were not educated and mannered people. Okay, so since British officers were sending a major part of their large salaries home, Indianization, it was hoped, would also reduce the drain of wealth to England. Okay, because most of the company employees were the British people. So if you are taking Indians there, then all those Britishers will lose their job. So it was not possible. Other demands were separation of judiciary from the executive. Okay, so judiciary should be free. The repeal of Arms Act and the freedom of speech and expression. So they wanted to take back the Arms Act. Okay, and also they need freedom of speech and expression. So the early Congress also raised a number of economic issues. Okay, there were also many economic issues. Because of the British rule, the nation had poverty and famines. Okay, and they also, they increased the land revenue. Okay, and the export of grains has created food shortages. Okay, the Congress demanded reduction of revenue. Okay, they wanted reduction of revenue, cut in military expenditure, and more funds for irrigation. Okay, and it also passed many resolutions on salt tax, treatment of Indian laborers abroad, and the sufferings of forest dwellers. All these caused by an interfering forest administration. So in the previous chapters we learned what were all the new laws brought by the Britishers. Okay. So all this show that despite being a body of educated elite, the Congress did not talk only on behalf of professional group, Semindars or industrialists. The moderate leaders wanted to develop public awareness about the unjust. Okay. So what did they do? They published newspaper, wrote articles, okay, and showed the British how the economy was ruining. Okay. So they criticized the British rule in their speeches and sent representatives to different parts to collect the public opinion. Okay. And they demanded that they need freedom and justice. Okay. So what was necessary therefore was to express these demands and make the government aware of feelings of Indians. Okay. Next topic is freedom is our birthright. So who said this? Freedom is our birthright and I shall have it. Who said? Yes, it is Bala Gangadhar Tilak. Okay. So we told in the first 20 years it was moderate period. So by 1890s, many Indians began to raise question about the political style of Congress. Okay. So in Bengal, Maharashtra and Punjab. Which three states? Bengal, Maharashtra and Punjab. Leaders like Bipin Chandrapal, Bal Gangadhar Tilak, Lala Lajpat Roy. Okay, who were the three leaders? They were called Bal, Pal, Lal. Bipin Chandrapal, Bal Gangadhar Tilak and Lala Lajpat Roy. They were beginning to explore more radical objectives. Okay, they wanted radical objectives. Okay, they told we have to fight, only then we'll be getting our freedom. So they criticized the moderates for the politics of prayers and emphasized the importance of self-reliance and constructive work. They also argued that people must rely on their own strength, not on the good intention. Okay, and they demanded that people must fight for Swaraj. Tilak raised the slogan, freedom is my birthright and I shall have it. Okay, so whose slogan is freedom is my birthright and I shall have it? Bal Gangadhar Tilak. In 1905, Viceroy Curzon, okay, 1905, Curzon partitioned Bengal. He divided Bengal into two, okay, because Bengal was the biggest province during that time, which included Bihar and parts of Orissa. So the British told that they divided Bengal only for administrative convenience. Okay. But it was not so. It was closely tied to interest of the British official and businessmen. Even so, instead of removing the non-Bengali area from the province, the government separated East Bengal and merged it with Assam. Okay, they separated East Bengal and they joined it with Assam. So the main British motive were to curtail the influence of Bengali politicians and to split the Bengali people. So their main aim for the partition was splitting the people. So the partition of Bengal started creating problems in all over the India. Okay, so all sections of your Congress, that is the moderates and radicals, opposed it. Okay, so continuing it, large public meetings and demonstrations were organized. Okay, and novel methods of mass protest were also developed. So the struggle that unfolded came to be known as Swadeshi movement. Okay, so the struggle against this came to be known as Swadeshi movement. It was strongest in Bengal. Okay, but it was only echoes were given in Andhra Pradesh. Okay, by Vande Mataram movement. Okay, in Andhra Pradesh, this movement, Swadeshi movement, was known as Vande Mataram movement. Okay. So that's all for today. Thank you, children.